But we have to help the NYPD, and I want to really emphasize, it's true here, it's true all over the country, that everyday people, everyday people can play an incredibly important role helping law enforcement by getting any information you have on who may be involved in this plot to law enforcement, and by being very vigilant about any packages that come in. The pattern of these packages has been extraordinarily consistent. But that does not mean that if something comes in that looks a little different, people shouldn't take it seriously if it's suspicious to them. So we need people to use their common sense. If a package looks suspicious, there's any kind of chemical smell, any wiring showing any indication of something out of the ordinary, don't open the package. Alert the NYPD immediately. Call 911. Much better to be safe than sorry in these situations. The question on everyone's mind, of course, is how long will this go on? It's important for people to recognize that until a full investigation takes place, we can't tell you how long this will go exactly. We have to be ready for any eventuality. It might be hours, it might be days, it might be weeks. The vigilance we need to show in the meantime is what has to be consistent. We're going to be updating people in the next few hours. There will be a press conference at One Police Plaza, so we'll have an opportunity there to get into detail about the latest on the investigation. But the bottom line here is, again, anybody who sees something suspicious or causes concern, call 911. Anybody who has information about the people who are behind these letter bombs, you can call our tip line, 1-888-NYC-SAFE. New Yorkers are showing that we will not be intimidated, and New Yorkers are showing the goodness and the decency that's true of this city and true of people all over this country. And this is ultimately, it's a very painful moment, it's a very frightening moment, but in the end, the goodness of everyday people is what's going to see us through this. I'm absolutely convinced of that. People helping each other out, people having each other's backs. That's how this city works. This is a city where 8.6 million people live in a practical kind of harmony that's extraordinary and something we should all be proud of. It's an example to the whole world. Nothing that's happened in the last day or two has changed that. We're going to keep being New Yorkers, and we're going to keep showing that we can get along with each other and we can make things work. Just a couple of words in Spanish. Esta mañana sacamos un dispositivo de las oficinas de Robert De Niro similar a los que hallamos ayer. Tenemos la mejor policía del mundo. Y los neoyorquinos deben continuar con sus vidas.
All right, you've been listening to Mayor Bill de Blasio of New York City, just essentially explaining to New Yorkers and to the rest of the country what New York police have been doing in the wake of these package deliveries that have happened at some locations in the surrounding area. Again, the mayor just pointing out some of the things that are national security contributors have been pointing out to us here, which is, to stay vigilant as to the packages that are being delivered and some of the things that, that you can take heart in. For example, it's been reported that the individual who discovered the package that was delivered to Robert De Niro today was someone who had watched the news and became aware of what was happening yesterday and was able to call the police. And so the mayor once again pointing that out and saying that the city is not going to be intimidated. We are going to continue to monitor all developments. This story is not over yet, as you just heard from one of our security consultants, a former FBI assistant director, until this person or persons are captured.
In Consumer Watch now, 2 months ago, we told you about chemicals in some of your cereal. That list just got longer.
New research reveals more than 24 samples of Quaker and General Mills products contain unsafe levels of a weed killer that is linked to cancer. The environmental advocacy group's first study back in August revealed 31 samples of other oat-based products, including some organic, that contain the chemical. Anna Werner has more.
There's really no reason consumers should have to worry about